Hello, my badass boys and badass babes. It is your B-Ed, double D, bad girl herself, Virgo, the Vixen. And as always, like, subscribe buttons, hit them, smash them, you know where they're at. Today, I thought we'd do something a little bit fun and a little bit out of my normal wheelhouse. Today, we are going to do a book report. What's a book? Okay, those are those things that have covers, it has pages, has words written in them, a book. All right. In all seriousness, today we are going to be having a little fun. We're going to go back to school, and I'm going to do my version of a book report. And today I'm choosing the book The Iliad by Homer. Not Homer Simpson, Homer, the famous playwright and author from Greece a couple thousand years ago. All right, so let me tell you about how I'm going to be doing this. First of all, the timeline may not exactly follow up with the book, but the general principle will be there. I will be kind of cutting out pieces here or there because, let's face it, either I don't like it, I don't find it attractive, or I just forgot. Whatever the case is, just roll the punches, go with me. And then basically, this is going to be done in my Vixen style. It won't be, how can we say this politely, done normally. This is going to be adding my flares and my styles to the book about the Iliad. All right, now that we set the ground rules, let's have some fun. Okay, today we are focusing on the Iliad. And it all gets started because one day the Greek gods decided they wanted to throw another party. Gee, go figure. So they're having this party, they're having a great time. However, they forgot to invite one goddess. Her name was Discord. Discord is like, what the fuck? Seriously, why are you disrespecting me? I'm a goddess. I paid my dues. Let me in. They're looking like you. No, we don't like you. Discord, stay your nappy ass out. We don't want you in our parties anymore. So what does Discord do? She says, you know what? I've had it. I'm going to get even with these guys for disrespecting me in front of all my friends and peers here. So she comes up with a great idea. She gets a golden apple, and on the golden apple, she writes, for the fairest. And she just tosses the apple into the party and then just, strolls out. It's like, she walks away like nothing ever happens. Okay, everyone sees this beautiful golden apple. It says for the fairest, okay? And they're having a hard time deciding the fairest, so what do? They look at the man himself, Zeus. Zeus is sitting on his throne. He's like, hey, Zeus, can you help us here? We can't decide who's the fairest. Can you do it for us? And Zeus is thinking, it's like, okay, let me see here. This is the dumbest idea that could ever happen to me because no matter who I choose, I'm going to be pissing everyone else off. So instead of being a man and being, like the king of all kings, the god of all gods in the Greek theater here, he acts like a little punk-ass bitch and says, you know what? I'm going to give it to this dude over here. His name's Paris. Now, who's Paris? Okay, let's rewind the clock. When Paris was born, actually, he's a prince. Go figure. I mean, he's not some lonely shepherd like he is now, but he was a prince. What happened was, when his parents were born, Prince, like all good royalty, was taken to the Oracle of Delphi. And at the Oracle of Delphi, they told of a very, how can we say this, devastating news that no parent wants to hear. Kids, mom, dad, I hate to tell you this, but your little baby boy over here, he's going to lead to the destruction of your kingdom known as Troy. Parents get freaked out. It's like, oh my God, we can't kill our kid because it's going to bring even a worse fate, which I really don't see how, but okay. So instead of, just doing the job themselves, they decide just to toss the kid out in the wilderness and let laws of nature handle this situation. So it's like, well, if he dies, he dies. Hey, not our problem. The gods, the fate of the gods. Well, funny thing you should say that, because guess what? He was actually found by a shepherd, raised up, so he thought he was a shepherd. Through a few series of events, he finds out, oh yeah, I'm actually a prince. So, here we got Paris sitting out in the middle of nowhere. 3 beautiful goddesses come up to him. We got Hera, we got Athena, and we got Aphrodite. First of all, Hera is basically the queen of the gods. She's Zeus's wife. Athena, Zeus's daughter, she is the goddess of warfare. Then you got Aphrodite, everyone knows her, the slut that she is, basically is the goddess of love. Okay, they give him the apple, and he says he has to choose, all right? Now, to be fair, that's a tough choice. I mean, you got 3 beautiful goddesses here, and they're telling you, hey, look, choose me. But you know what? They decide to, how can we say this, up the ante. Literally, Hera says, if you choose me, I will make you the ruler of Asia Minor, which is this massive territory, okay? Apparently, that wasn't good enough for him. Athena steps up and says, hey, if you choose me, I will show you I will lead your army, the Trojans, on how to beat the Greeks. You know, the people who worship me a lot. I'll show you how to smoke my own people over here if you choose me, which is a pretty gangsta move if you ask me. And then you got Aphrodite who says, you know what? If you choose me, I'll make sure you have the most beautiful woman around that you could possibly have. Okay, to be fair, Paris is a guy and he thinks with his dick and not his head, because if he thought with his head, he would have chose Hera, because, and I'll tell you why. If I was him, I would have chose Hera. Number one, I would have got all three of them. Number one, I would have became the ruler of Asia Minor. Number two, I would have destroyed Greece, being the ruler. And number three, since I destroyed Greece, hey, I get the most beautiful woman in the world. So if I was thinking with my head instead of my dick, I would have chose Hera over here. But nope. So he goes, chooses Aphrodite. Okay, there's only one problem. The woman, the most beautiful woman, her name's Helen. Helen, guess what? Helen is a married woman. Oops, that little detail was excluded from, how can we say this? The cliff notes of this decision. So, now that he's officially pissed off Hera and Athena, we'll put that to the side because that will play later on. So, basically, she says, don't worry, it's not going to be a problem, I'll hook you up. So there's this party where you have Agamemnon, which is her husband, Helen's husband, who is, guess what, the king of the Spartans. And so you have Paris over here. Now, according to the story, she magically falls in love with Paris, and they flee off to Troy in the middle of the night. All right, let me tell you something. I don't believe that. I personally believe it wasn't that hard of a decision. You have this guy over here named Agamemnon, who basically wasn't taking care of her needs. I think he was more worried about, having, just doing lots of other guy shit, doesn't care. He just uses his wife as a booty call whenever he wants, however he wants, when he wants. He doesn't care about her needs, so why should he care about her? I mean, he's the king. She's just a woman. That's how he was thinking. And so I think she was getting tired. She was thinking in the back of her mind, you know what? I'm getting tired of being disrespected by this fool over here. He's hung like a tic-tac. I have a young stud over here who is, well, let's just say he's a young stud versus a man who's hung like a tic-tac, who does not want my needs. Tough call, ladies. So I think that's what happened. Can I prove it? No. But anyways, she decides to dump him, go with Paris, and off they go to Troy. Now, here's the problem. All right. Agamemnon finds out about this. He's like, hey, where's my booty call? Where's my slam piece at? What? What do you mean she left me? I'm the king. You don't get this. I'm the king. Why did she leave me? That doesn't make any sense. I think someone took her. That's what happened. There's no way my loving wife would just leave me. Someone stole it. Who stole it? That little bastard from Troy. He stole my woman. Oh, okay. That's it. I'm calling up my homies. We're gonna smoke this fool. And here's the funny thing. When Helen was deciding who she wants as a husband, all the, how can we say, leaders of Greece kind of got together and signed a pact. And the guy who came up with this, his name is Odysseus, and that will come back to bite him in a future story. But needless to say, he got roped into this agreement because he thought he was oh so smart. But anyways, here's the thing. All the leaders agreed basically to not go to war. Whoever Helen decides to go with, that she goes with. If anyone attacks, the person who got Helen, the rest of the group would have to attack that person. See where the trouble is? So basically, Paris decides to think with his dick, gets Helen to Troy, and now Agamemnon's pissed. So basically, he pulls up his contract, calls up his homies, and guess what? 1,000 ships later, we are going to war. All right, ladies, I do not know about you, but I'm going to tell you this. In the history of the human species, and I want every man to focus on this. Ladies, have you ever heard of a scenario where if a guy rolls up to your house and threatens to burn your house down and kill everyone inside, does that make you want that guy more? Because last time I checked, that is kind of a turn off, not a turn on, and that kind of, how can we say this, nullifies any chances of there being reconciliation. Well, did this guy, launch the ships and say, baby, I was wrong. I am sorry. I neglected your needs. I am a fool. I would like you to come home. I brought these ships for you. They are filled with treasure. They are filled with gold. They are filled with perfume. They are filled with everything for you, my love. Just please come home. I promise I will be a better husband. No, what does he say? He rolls up to the gates of Troy, looks at the king. He says, okay, your majesty, here's how it's going to go. Bring out Helen. Helen, baby, I love you. Now I can give you a couple choices. Choice one, you come back home with me, no one dies. Choice two, I'm going to burn this city to the ground. I'm going to kill your lover, and then I'm just going to smoke anyone else who just happens to get in my way. Really? Really, Casanova, you really think that's the best way to get, how can we say this, to get the woman you want to love you is by threatening to kill everybody? I mean, seriously, I'm pretty sure there's a Hallmark card out there. I mean, God knows Hallmark has made cards for everything else, but I might be wrong. So, he gets everybody. Now, let me review. The heroes on this side over here, on Troy's side, we got Hector. He's the prince. Damn good fighter. Pretty much about it. On the Greek side, we have Odysseus, we have Agamemnon, we have Ajax, we have a few minor heroes, but the most important one is a dude named Achilles. A little backstory on Achilles. All right. His mother's a nymph, I think it was, or something, a demigod, and a prophecy about her son was one of two options. He was either going to die the most glorious hero ever, or live a life of just basically quietness and never knowing his true potential. So his mother decides to dip his body in the river Styx, except for a part on the foot, which, guess what, that will come back into play in the moment in the story. But she grabs him, dips him in the water to make him basically impervious to almost any attack. And so she decides, what am I going to do? I can't let my son be a man, so I'm going to hide him in a bunch of women and teach him how to be a woman. All right, so he's living with a bunch of women. They're trying to find Achilles because, hey, we need this guy. This guy is cool. He's great. We heard a lot about him, even though he hasn't done anything at this point, but still. All right, Odysseus finds him, and he finds out, okay, who's the woman? Who's the woman? Who's Achilles? Okay, I got an idea. I'm going to lay two chests out, a chest of weapons and a chest of jewelry. All the women run to the jewelry, and Odysseus, and I can't say this, Odysseus, I hate to say it, Odysseus was smart. And here comes Achilles, runs over to the chest with the weapons. And he's like, yep, that's our boy over there. So we have this all-star lineup versus this all-star lineup, and shit's going to get real. All right, here's the problem. Troy, high, very high walls. No siege weapons. So what can the Greeks do? They have ladders. Not really effective, but guess what? They still try. They still fail. Armies clash. And I'm going to skip over, this is the part where I'm going to skip over some things, but I'm just going to fast forward. There is some intervention with the gods in this point, where Zeus is trying to help Troy, Hera is trying to help the Greeks, Athena is definitely helping the Greeks, because guess what? She got slighted and slammed. Ares is helping Troy, because guess what? He's tapping not Athena, but Aphrodite's sweet ass whenever he can. So we kind of got this battle of the gods according to Homer. I just think it's just a bunch of angry people fighting together, but that's just my view. And so this lasted for 10 years. Okay, 10 years. Okay, Agamemnon. Seriously, dude, seriously. What was so special about her? Did her meow down below speak 5 languages and sing a cappella? Did sunshine come out of it? Seriously, what the hell, dude? I mean, I can understand 1, 2, maybe 5 years of trying to get this woman back that, you threatened to burn down her place, kill her lover. If this woman was being held hostage, I could understand this, okay? But seriously, 10 years have gone by. They had 2 Olympic Games during this time where they took breaks to have the Olympic Games, which is kind of funny. It's like, you know what, I want to burn your place, but you know what, it's time for the Olympics. Let's just take a hiatus here. I'll tell you what, we take a break, we have some fun, we do some drinking, we have some fun, let's go do some sport, and then we'll go back to killing each other. Seriously, not joking, look it up, believe me or not, that's how it was. So, 10 years go by. Several heroes get killed. All right, and the most important one is 2 of them get killed. Hector first. Achilles kills Hector. All right, in a great battle, Achilles wins, drags Hector's body, which I thought was a little bit, gangster. It's like, hey, I'm trolling all of you guys. I'm just dragging the body of the prince around the castle gate, and there's nothing you can do about it. Basically, the king has to pay a ransom to get his son back. And eventually, Achilles dies. Okay, here's what happens. The only spot where he was vulnerable, Apollo helped guide the arrow from the little prick known as Paris, shoots him through the Achilles tendon, the only spot where he was vulnerable, shoots him through the arrow, and magically dies. All right. So basically now the group is deciding, okay, Achilles is dead. Who gets all his armor and weapons? and they were all given to other people than Ajax. Ajax was this great hero, legendary strength, and instead of being a man, just accepted, okay, I didn't get anything, the dude kills himself. I mean, seriously, what a crybaby. I mean, come on, dude. You could have got other things, but instead, I want this, so I'm just going to Harry carry myself and call it a day. Wow, great hero there, pal. All right, so now it's getting towards the end of the war, and guess what? Troy is sitting up in his high walls, and they're just laughing at the Greeks. The Greeks can't penetrate. They can't do anything for the last 10 years. If you want to talk about the definition of insane, I'm going to use Albert Einstein's definition of insane, is you keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Well, these guys over here are doing that definition until one day Odysseus magically comes up with this idea. I have an idea. Let's leave. But before we leave, we construct this giant horse, and we leave this giant horse as a prize for the Trojans as our way of saying, sorry, we know we fucked up. All right, so magically one day, the next morning, the Greeks, all their ships have disappeared except for this giant horse on the beach. All right, the people of Troy look at this horse and go, you know, we have just sacrificed the last 10 years of our lives. And the Greeks offer us this beautiful wooden horse. Excuse me? I don't know about you, but if someone tried to kill me for the last 10 years and they left just this stupid wooden horse, I would be pissed. I would be mounting up my armies and go smoking some fools for the disrespect of leaving me a wooden horse. Okay, bitch, you better leave me silver, you better leave me jewels, you better leave me gold. Hey, you put some strain on my time, you ravaged my land, you did some nasty shit to it. You pay me up, okay? Let's just be real on this. But instead of being smart or having any form of common sense, I just guess after 10 years of war, they'll take anything. They see this horse. They are excited. It's like, ooh, a wooden horse. I've never seen anything this big. Really? But anyways, so what are we going to do? We're going to bring it into the middle of our city and celebrate our victory. Except for one woman. And for some odd reason, they don't listen to women back then. Then they should have, because it was spared a whole lot of shitload of trouble. But the daughter, Paris' sister, her name's Cassandra. Backstory on her. She made a deal with Apollo. Hey, you give me a child, I'll give you the gift of prophecy. Apollo gives her the gift of prophecy. She says, you know what, honestly, I thought, I don't want to give you a child. So Apollo can't take the gift back, but however, he changes it. He basically turns the gift to where anything you say, no one's going to believe you. All right, so here she is screaming her head off that this is a trap. There is a bunch of Greek soldiers in there. Burn it, push it into sea, but do not bring it in. Everyone is ignoring her. Personally, I think it was just the fact that she was a woman, and back then women weren't thought of. So, whatever. But point is, no one's listening to the smart woman in the crowd who's saying, let's burn this thing to the ground. Nope, they bring it in. Nightfall comes, soldiers come out, open the gates. Here come the Greeks who were in hiding, which I don't know how, but they come in. Everything gets burnt to the ground. People are either imprisoned or slaughtered. And Helen, I love this. Helen, all of a sudden, and this is the part that makes me laugh the most, and really, this worked back then, but this wouldn't work today. I mean, seriously, here's Agamemnon, and all of a sudden she goes, honey, the gods made me, they put a spell on me. That's why I fell in love with this guy. There's no way I could ever leave you. Really? Really? 10 years later, seriously? This is the excuse that she used to tell Agamemnon, honey, I am so sorry. I just lost my head because the gods forced me to love this guy over here who you just killed. Yeah. And the worst thing is that actually worked. Now, I guarantee you, you can't use this today, especially guys. Now, imagine a guy using this on his girlfriend. Baby, but God, he enchanted me. He hypnotized me. I don't know why, but I just was compelled to have sex with this beautiful woman. I love you. Don't get me wrong. I love you, baby, but it's all Guy's fault. He's the one who did that. Can you imagine that BS today? Because I don't know about you, But that, let me just tell you what, that guy would have an accident or two. So let's review. All right, 10 years of war. Troy gets killed. Spoiler alert. Sorry, gotta do it. Troy is destroyed. Everyone is either dead or brought back in chains as prisoners, except for two young brothers who were out hunting. They were the only ones who weren't in the city of Troy, apparently. They were out hunting. Their names were Romulus and Remus. They leave that area, go to the coast of Italy, and form a new city called Rome. Yeah, go figure. Guess they didn't forget the lessons of the past. Anyway, so that's where the book pretty much ends, with everyone celebrating. The Greeks have won. Troy is destroyed, burnt down. This is where it's going to lead into the second book. Now, if you want me to do the second book, please feel free to do in the comments below. So let's review. Number 1, Troy was destroyed because someone thought with their penis, not their head. Number 2, Agamemnon has a small dick, and let's just face it, was an arrogant prick who just couldn't give up the fact that his wife dumped him because he had said small penis. Number 3, 10 years of fighting. I mean, that is dedication. I don't care who you are. You spent 10 years of doing something over and over and over, and failure and failure and failure. I gotta give credit. Either you're the dumbest person on the planet, which in this case I believe, or number 2, you're just, well, let's face it, you're just dumb. So my badass boys and badass babes, hopefully you enjoyed this little, how can we say, Vixen version of the Iliad. Anyways, you know what the time it is. Who's your Vixen? Bye-bye.